I'm going to show you how you can fire yourself from your group practice, and by doing so, double or triple it. I've helped about 30 group practice owners do this just in the past year. Firing yourself from your group practice all comes down to 3 simple concepts that you can apply for immediate impact. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to move from operator to owner by learning how to document, hire, and manage by numbers. And these are the exact same strategies that I've used to build my own 7-figure business. So let's dive in. Okay, it's really important for me to say that hard work is not the answer. Okay, when you start a business, you have to learn how to work hard. You have to learn how to put yourself out there and grow it. But to take it to the next level, it's not about hard work. It's about leverage. Okay, full transparency. A while back, I was stuck in my business. We had a not great time financially. So I decided I'm going to work 6 days a week. I'm going to take sales calls every single second of every single day. What ended up happening is I stopped working out. I felt terrible. We lost money, and I continued that way for 3 to 4 months, trying to push through it with no clear end in sight. Okay, I had to stick to a bigger vision of what was possible for myself. I had to really work on my mindset just to stay through this time. Now, this didn't help with my relationship with my business partner or the rest of the business. Long story short, I got invited to a business workshop and I learned how to hire. I learned about the constraints of my business. And when I hired a great salesperson, my business doubled instantly. We got very profitable and my life completely changed. Okay, I felt way better. I had more time and I had more money. So I know this firsthand that when you can nail this, your business can be exactly how you want it to be. But if you're not loving exactly where your business is right now, you're usually just a few tweaks away from getting into a good place. That's what I'm going to show you today. Okay, you have to actively fire yourself from your business. If your work looks the same as it did 6 months ago, you're not growing as an entrepreneur. If it looks the same as it did a year ago, you're not growing. You have to constantly reject and change the old things you're doing to work on new, higher leverage activities. Okay, now I'm going to show you the process to cycle through as you're growing so that you can keep doing this. You need to keep firing yourself from the work that you're doing. Okay, so again, this is from operator to owner. All right, so first let's walk through how to get your business off the ground in the beginning. Okay, I'm going to talk about discovery. So what really happens in discovery is we are testing to figure out what works. Okay, now when I talk about hiring people, when I talk about firing yourself, you need to fire yourself from something that grows the business. Okay, if you want other people to grow it on your behalf, if you want the sort of passive income that a lot of people talk about, you need to learn how to actively grow the business. So if the business isn't growing at all right now, don't fire yourself. You need to learn what to do. You need to learn the skill sets that are going to grow it. Okay, how do you do that? That's from testing. So for example, you might start marketing, you might start hiring, okay, you might do your own sessions. Let's just say do your own sessions. All of this is activity that's going to grow the business. It's going to bring cash in the door. Okay. Specifically, I'm going to talk about marketing because this is what grow the business by marketing it. So you get more referrals, the business is going to grow. If you're marketing effectively, you're going to start to see that you have an input-output relationship. So you have an input-output relationship. Okay. What that means is, for example, 2 hours of time is going to yield 1 referral. Okay. If you don't know what that time is, pay someone for training, go ask around, go find out what that is. But there's a lot of things you can do. For example, setting up advertising campaigns or building relationships or running social media. They're going to fill your business that take a couple of hours of time to get an outcome. Your goal when you're trying to grow the business is to put as much time as possible into these activities. Okay. It's very important that you learn the skill yourself. I don't believe in outsourcing it right off the bat, except for maybe some of the really technical stuff. But your goal is to put your time into this. Okay. And the reason is you want to learn what works. This is very important for the documentation and hiring. Okay. So first step is to actively fill up your time. That might be where you're at right now. You are working really hard. You've learned what works. You learned how to get new people in the door. Then we go into step 1, which is called documentation. All right. What is documentation? When we talk about moving from an operator to an owner, think about what an owner of a business is. Think about, Warren Buffett, who buys stock in a company. Does he, go to Dairy Queen and hand out the ice cream himself? Does he train the employees? Does he do anything active in the business? No, he's completely outside of the business. And yet the business continues to run, the business continues to grow, to expand to new locations. Why is that? Okay. It's because they have documented processes. All that a business is it's a repeatable set of inputs and outputs, right? You're producing a product or service at a high enough quality that people want to continue to come back, or they want to send their other friends your way. You're also trying to get new people to come in so that you can operate at a margin to stay profitable and grow. Now, what this means is that the business really comes down to that service. You don't have to be the one to provide the service. And when you're growing a group practice, you need to figure out how you can effectively get more people to take the service, get your message out in front of more people so that they come in. Okay. Now, an owner, if somebody else owned your practice right now, you would be like an employee who is actively going out and finding new people, letting them know they exist, taking the intake calls, placing them on people's caseloads. If you want to move yourself to more of an owner where you can choose the work you want to do in the business, not be forced to work in the business, then you have to start to peel back the layers and go more towards the work that an owner does versus an operator. What is an owner going to do? They're going to look at the metrics. They might make some key decisions on bringing in a new CEO, but they're ultimately not doing a lot of the work in the business. Operator is doing all the work and making it run day to day. So when I talk about documentation, what am I referring to? This is pretty simple. Let's say you spent the 2 hours effectively marketing. You're making a social media post, for example. So 2 hours, social media post. I would highly advise that you do this multiple weeks in a row so you understand really well how to do it. Okay. Again, you do not want to delegate out something you don't know how to do yourself. It's going to be hard to train other people. It's going to be hard to manage them to know that they're doing well. And your business doesn't grow just because activity is happening. Your business grows because the right activity is happening at a high enough quality. So let's say you know how to get clients from social media, creating social media posts. It takes you 2 hours a week. You create a social media post. What you're going to do is you're going to record yourself doing the activity. Okay. Record yourself doing the activity. I would highly recommend something like Loom. Okay. You can see this is a screen share right here. There's a application called Loom where you can just record your screen as you're doing something. So, okay, what are you doing in that 2 hours? Maybe you're doing, research. You might write an outline. You might fill in the outline. You might create a graphic in Canva, and you might post and tag others. Okay. Very basic example of what you'd be doing. Let's say you're creating your social media post this way. You want to write down in detail each one of these steps, and you want to describe how to do those steps. So when you research, how do you research? Do you look at other people's profiles? Are you looking at your old post that did well? Do you have a content bank that you're using? Okay, how does that work? When you're writing an outline, what's the framework that you're using? Is it always a 3-point outline? Is it a 5-point outline? Describe that in detail. Okay. How do you fill in the outline? How many words do you want it to be? What's the thought process behind how you're doing this? Okay. Creating the graphic. What sort of graphics do you compare this against? How do you simply do it? How could someone else repeat what you're doing? Okay. Does it take insane creativity or is it pretty simple? And then how do you post? What's the login information for posting? Okay. What happens when you write this all out in detail, and it'll take some time to just describe this all, to record yourself and to document it in a checklist. What happens is that now you have a repeatable process. It's not enough when you're hiring someone to say, hey, go do social media. If you don't know how to do it yourself, the likelihood that they're going to know how to do it effectively is low. On the other hand, if they've done it successfully for other people, they have a track record and they can prove it and you can track it, then you can maybe trust them, right? To build out that part of the business for you. But do not hire unskilled people to do a skill that you don't have yourself, because you won't be able to train them effectively and you'll be disappointed when they don't work out the way that you want it to. Okay. Do it yourself first. Document the activity in detail. This is going to be step one. If you can take this skill set, you can start to hand off work little by little. Where do we want to start though? Low leverage activities. Think about the cheapest tasks. Okay. The advice I always hear is to hire an executive assistant first. I'll say I don't have my own executive assistant right now, but might hire some at some point. But it's to take off the tedious, repeatable tasks, the simple tasks that don't take a lot of energy or mind power. Those are the things you want to hand off first. So think about admin work, let's say marketing prep, okay, data entry. These are all the things that you can start with to document. All right. That's step one. Very important skill set. Okay, what do you do once you have documented processes? You have 4 hours of your week that you've written down, you've recorded of yourself. Okay, step 2 is going to be hire. All right, a lot of principles I'm going to try to explain here. But the whole point of firing yourself is to get time back so you can put your time into higher leverage activities, okay? I don't want you to actually be lazy and just sit back and hope that the business grows. It's still gonna take that founder energy. It's still gonna take someone leading other people. You just might not have to be doing all of the day-to-day work. But step 2 is we're gonna try to hire someone to help out. So we're trying to hire people who maybe are lower skilled, okay? Depending on the task that we're handing over to them, they might need less skill or more skill, okay? If you want someone who's higher skilled, you're gonna need to put more capital, more money into it. If you want somebody who's lower skilled, you can put less money into it. So when we hire, what are we looking for? Number 1, very simple. I'm gonna have other videos on this, but mission, vision, values, they need to fit in with your mission, vision, and values, right? Their vision has to fit within what you're trying to build within your business. They need to share the values. Even for low leverage work, you don't want to have people that clash in terms of values. Second part of this is understand the hours that you want. It is totally okay, especially if you're more towards the beginning, to hire part-time people, to hire people for 5 hours a week or 10 hours a week, okay? You can hire virtual assistants overseas for $5 an hour for 5 hours a week. That's $25 a week, $100 a month to buy back 5 hours of your time. You can do this. And I would really advise you don't try to hire people full-time before you need it. You're trying to hire to buy back your time, okay? Buy back your time. And when you do that, you're going to start to see that it's only 5 hours here or it's 4 hours there. Now, this can grow over time, but you want to set fair expectations with the people that you hire on they're there to help you. They're there to help you get your time back so you can work on more effective aspects of your business, okay? So let's say this is 5 hours. Then what we're going to do is we're going to generate, let's say 5 to 15 interviews. Very simple framework. Find quality people for your business. It's not just about the money. It's about the people that you can generate and how they match and connect with you. Find people that are aligned in terms of values and talk to 10 people so that you can really get enough data to know that someone's going to be great. Okay. Even for a 5 hour per week role, I would still recommend you get a lot of interviews. It's never worth having people that are really hard to train, are really hard to motivate to get the work done. You want people that get the work done, that you don't have to manage, especially if you're more early on, okay? So do enough interviews so you talk to enough people that you can make a quality decision on who is good, okay? And then from there, once you've decided on the candidate, you need to train them, okay? How do you train someone? What do you tell them what to do? You teach them how you did what you did, okay? This is also why it's important to do it yourself. Because in the training process, you're going to say, hey, this is how I do it. This is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting 1 inquiry every time I do a social media post. This is how I create it. Watch me do it. You're going to sit on a Zoom call with me as I do it, or if they're in person, you're going to watch me do it. Okay. We're going to go back here. You're going to share with them the outline. Okay. Let's say it's a Google Drive document. You share with them the outline. You share with them the Loom video. Okay. And after you do it, you give it to them. They do it while you're supervising, or they do it and then you review their work. That's how you train someone, okay? Don't expect anyone to be 100% as good as you. You know, they're not going to have the same incentive that you have, but train them up to be the best that they can in any of these things. Again, it's not worth just hiring people. It's not worth giving people activities to do. It's worth giving them activities that are going to grow your business because there's a high enough output, especially for something like marketing. The quality matters a lot. So train them up to the quality so that they're effective. But if you've done that, okay, you hire someone, you train them, you give them that task, and you are managing them. You've bought back your time and you have an extra 5 hours a week, okay? You can do this for 10 hours a week. We have a lot of clinicians that we work with where group practice owners go from insurance to cash or up their rate so that they can do even less clinical sessions because we need that energy, we need that time, and we need that extra capital to grow the business. It will be impossible if you don't have that time. So it's really important to go through this process. And what do you do with that extra time? You spin that off into stuff that's going to grow the business even more, okay? And eventually you can hand that off, right? One of the most important concepts for all of this is something called leave a man behind. There is When people are climbing up a mountain, a lot of times they'll say, never leave a man behind. Don't keep going. If someone's struggling, stay with them. Your business is kind of the opposite, where you need to chart a new course, you need to learn a new skill, and then you need to hand it off to people on your team. Okay. You need to trust them to do it so that you can grow into the next area. You don't want to give away necessarily hiring right away, because that's one of the highest leverage things, is the people you bring into your organization. Maybe you want to start handing off everything else, doing it for a month or 2 months until you get a good enough skill set, and then giving it out. That is how you continually fire yourself, and in doing so, grow the business and make a lot more from working less. Okay. That's step 2. Now, we're going to walk through step 3. This really is a part of leadership, but this is really important as well. It's not enough to just onboard someone. It's not enough to train them. People fluctuate. You have to continually train them, work with them. Eventually, if you train someone, they can train someone else. So you don't have to do this forever, but very, very important. And one of the highest leverage things you can do is train your people, grow them. So we're going to talk about managing by numbers. All right. One of the other most important things I can recommend is to have a company scorecard that contains all the numbers of the business, and it contains the goals for the business. Okay. We do this for a lot of our clients. I'm going to include a link in the bio of this video if you want a scorecard for yourself that you can use for your own group practice. It just has all the numbers. It's really simple. The scorecard is going to contain weekly, how many inquiries we got versus what was our goal. How many new clients did we land versus what was our goal? What was our revenue versus what was our goal? Okay, those are all in the marketing metrics. You could include other metrics on product retention, score from clients, new referrals, right? There's a lot of other metrics you can include. What this does is it gives us a weekly snapshot. The cool thing about this, though, is as you start to grow in your business, you can hand off the skills that you're doing. You can hand off the strategies, the tactics. You can teach other people, and then you can hold them to account on clear numbers, clear KPIs. Okay. So for example, you say, hey, I'm going to give you the social media post. It's 1 a week. I, on average, generate 4 inquiries a month. I want you to generate 3. Okay. And then we want to work up to 4. So I'm giving this to you. We're going to check in on this every single week so I can answer any questions or help you out. But my expectation is that you can generate 3 inquiries from it, from doing it the same way that I do it. Okay. And what that allows you to do is give them very clear expectations, but also understand if you're doing the right things and if what you're doing is working. So I'd highly recommend you have a company scorecard as well as weekly meetings. Okay. This creates the cadence so that your business can grow, so that you can incentivize other people for growth. You can bonus them or compensate them as the business grows, but you can have clear accountability, clear training, strong hiring, which all is going to help your business be better, right? And it's not going to all depend on you. Okay? If you feel like you're wearing all the hats right now, you don't have to. You have to start handing off the hats one by one to the other people on your team. And if you don't have people on your team, hire them slowly, right? Hire quality people that want what you want, that want to grow with the business, that you can trust to do these processes. When you do this effectively, your business is going to grow. You're going to have more money, even if you're paying the people on your team more money. And ultimately, you're going to have more time and more freedom. Okay. No entrepreneur that I've met wanted to buy themselves a really, really hard 24/7 job. Most of the group practice owners that I know wanted to have more flexibility and more time. If you want to do that, you need to learn to master these skills. All right, so again, there's going to be a scorecard in the bio. Go ahead and check that out if you want, a very basic way to run your team, to start to manage it, to start to give away responsibility, to lead that to people on meetings. And in addition, if you want me to actually train you one-to-one to do this, this is what I do in the mastermind. Okay. We work with group practice owners one-to-one to train them on the skills that they don't have, to teach them how to hire the right people, to help them understand their finances, and to run done for you marketing so that your business grows. Okay. There's a lot more detail than I can even give in this video that I tend to give in one-to-one or group settings with the clinician. So there's a link in the bio to apply for that as well if you're interested. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.